Well, hello and welcome. We are here live tonight with the Marion County Chamber of Commerce at the 304 Collective Studios here in Fairmont, West Virginia. And tonight continues our series of City Council candidate forums. And we are broadcasting these throughout the month of September, so be sure you're following our Facebook pages for the Marion County Chamber of Commerce and the 304 Collective so you can catch these each time they are aired. My name is Tim Liebrecht. I'm the director for Main Street Fairmont, and I'm also the chief operations officer for the Claudio Corporation. Here tonight, we have Dan Weber. He's the candidate for District 6. Now, before we get started, I would love it if you are here. Drop us a comment. Comment who you are and where you're watching from. Also, if you have any questions for the candidate, we would love to hear those, and we will be getting to those at the end of our time tonight. So we would love for you to ask any questions that you would like to our candidate, and save some good ones for you, Dan. We'll make sure you get some good ones from the audience here tonight. All right, and also we want to remind everybody, when you're voting for City Council, every voter gets to vote for one member from each district. So make sure you are catching up on all of the candidates, familiarizing yourself with who they are to make sure that you know who you're voting for on Election Day. All right, Dan. Well, you ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. So, Dan, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Dan Weber, and I live in Fairmont. I live in Hillcrest, behind FSU. I'm a retired professor at Fairmont State, and I've been retired for a while. And I served on City Council for 8 years, and had to take 4 years off because of term limits. But as I watch City Council over the past, say, 6 months, I decided that perhaps maybe we need some new blood and some new people on City Council. So that's one of the reasons that I decided to run again. The district that I live in runs from Upland Drive, down Lowell Street, includes Fairmont State University, crosses Locust Avenue, all the way down to Fairmont Avenue, and then drops down to a part of Virginia Avenue. We have a lot of residences in that district. We have a lot of rental properties, mostly for university students, some businesses. It's a very nice area of Fairmont to live in, and if anybody wants to come up and visit, they certainly can. We're always open for visitors, and it is a great neighborhood.
Very good. So also a hospitable part of the district.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Well, if I need coffee, I'll make sure I swing by your house next time I'm in the area. So you talked a little bit about your district. Now tell us a little bit more, Dan. Why did you decide to run for City Council? I know you touched on this a little bit, but give us a little more in-depth look.
Well, City Council is an extremely integral part of what happens in the city of Fairmont. The City Council basically runs all of the matters dealing with the city. For example, our police and fire, our water department, our street department, our parks department are all part of the city of Fairmont, and they are controlled basically by the City Council along with the city manager. But the City Council is the governance body of the city of Fairmont to make sure that the services that people need and want in the city are delivered to them so that we can have safe neighborhoods, that we can have good police protection, fire protection. And by the way, we do have a very fine police department and fire department. And as a matter of fact, just up the street from here, there is going to be the new fire station, what looks like it's going to be a state-of-the-art. Now, a lot of people don't realize that half of the city budget is dedicated to the police and fire department. They take up about, now I haven't been on council for a while, but approximately 1/2 or $6 million of the city budget. So we have to have a good police department and we have to have a good fire department. In the street department, everybody pays $2 to $4 a month if you work in the city or live in the city, and that goes directly to the street maintenance department so that we can have a good and safe streets, which I think has proven itself over the years to really has done a good job with a lot of the complaints we had years ago in regard to potholes and that type of thing. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead and continue. Go ahead and continue.
Well, I think it's important that people know how the budget works, and this budget comes through City Council. City Council studies and then votes on the budgets, what departments get what. And one of the good things about City Council is that everybody on City Council that I don't know a lot of these people today, but they're very concerned about the welfare of the citizens of Fairmont. That is their obligation. Their obligation is to the people, all the people of Fairmont, not just to their particular district. So I really find that to be an important part of City Council's responsibility.
So, and certainly appreciate that education on how the budget works, and I think that is incredibly important for all voters to know and understand, because you're right, City Council does control so much of that, and it is the whole thing is their responsibility. Tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you see in Fairmont and how you hope to deal with these challenges if you're elected to office.
Well, I think one of the challenges we have today is the language that's being used by some people. Maya Angelou said that the words that come out of the mouths of people are a window to their soul. And that's very true. What you say has an effect on everybody, and especially those that the words are geared toward. So I think we really have to be really careful about what is said in City Council, and especially what is said about other people and other ideas. We can't negate people's ideas because of their color or their sex or that type of thing. We have to listen to everybody and be open to ideas from everyone.
Very good. Now, tell me about any new initiatives maybe that you have that you think you'd like to bring to the table if you're elected here. Some new initiatives that you'd like to see council take on that maybe they're not doing right now.
Well, I think the council's doing what they can, but I think they need governance. And by that I mean I think they need to stay with the governing properties of the City Council. That is their job. And one of the things that concerns me is that I was always told that 90% of work is showing up, and if you don't show up, then you don't get much work done. And so when I was on council, I never missed a regularly scheduled council meeting in the entire 8-year term as I had. I was there every time. So I think it's important that council take that to heart and show up and do the work. What else would you want me to?
No, I think that really gives us kind of a picture as to kind of what you're looking at bringing to the table. Now, let me ask you this: as far as things that City Council is in charge with and involved with, the Human Rights Commission is obviously a new entity that's recently been created. So, tell me about your thoughts on the Human Rights Commission and how do you see that group interacting with the city?
Well, the Human Rights Commission, I think, is one of the most important commissions that the city has. It's a new commission. It's a little over a year old, and to be against any human right is an absurdity to me. I think that human rights are an integral part of our life, and I am certainly glad that we have a Human Rights Commission, and I think they're doing a good job with what they have to do. We need to continue with the Human Rights Commission and support them as much as we can.
For sure. Now, that kind of brings me mostly to the end of the question set that I have here, and we're going to be taking it here to the audience here in just a moment for questions from them. But is there anything else that we haven't really touched on yet that you'd like to communicate to voters?
Well, I noticed that the issue of sidewalks has come up again in the city of Fairmont, that there's a proposal to put the sidewalk between Sunset Drive and Fleming Avenue on Country Club Road, which I think is needed for those people who want to walk in that area. But I think one of the most important areas that we need sidewalks, and I brought this up when I was on council before, is from the Fairmont Hills apartment buildings on Cleveland Avenue down to Locust Avenue, the corner of Locust Avenue and Cleveland Avenue. It is 1/2 mile of no sidewalk for those people who are walking there. And there are a lot of those people who do walk. They do not have automobiles, and they do walk up that road and down that road morning, noon, and night. If you are going out to, say, North Marion in the morning, you will see people walking down and to and from there. That needs to be addressed, I think, through the City Council, through the County Commission, and also through the State Road Commission, because I think it's going to take all those entities to make that kind of a project work. It's almost 1/2 mile, but it needs to have lighting at nighttime as well as the sidewalk. One of the things I proposed to City Council and got basically a lukewarm response from the city manager and from the City Council is that directly across from the Marion County offices of Ms. Tina Shaw is the green space, which abuts up against the bank building and what now looks to be a parking lot coming. Why we need another parking lot's beyond me. But that should be turned into a green space so families can come down in the daytime. People who have lunch can visit there. And I called it the Francis and Julia Pierpont Square. Again, a lukewarm response. Why, I don't know, it's a lukewarm response, but certainly that space has now been empty since the Hartley Building and Palace Restaurants buildings were torn down 8 years ago, 9 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. And to this point, there's been absolutely nothing done to that space. So a park-like atmosphere for the people who work downtown and for those people who live downtown would be, I think, an advantageous thing for the city, and it also bring people in if they're coming to say the Feast of the Seven Fishes. We'd have more area. If you're going to be doing shopping at the Arts and Antiques, then you would have some more area. Another thing that I think we need desperately downtown are a grocery store for those people who live downtown. At this time, there isn't any. We must have some place for people to buy groceries rather than walking all the way out to a Price Cutter on 12th Street. Another thing is we need to address seriously is the homeless issue. Every Sunday I go through town and I see homeless people who apparently are coming up from the Mid-City parking lot, and that needs to be addressed very seriously. And also the opioid addiction that we have and other drug problems that we have in the city need to be addressed. They need to be addressed seriously, not just talked about. They need to be addressed and come up with solutions to those problems. Again, going back to the Human Rights Commission, the people who are opioid addiction and those people who are homeless that's human rights, in my opinion. We need to take care of these people, find solutions for those problems.
You have brought up a lot of really good, a lot of really good points and some very ambitious projects that you believe are necessary for our downtown, and some really good stuff here. Tell me this: obviously, projects of this size and this magnitude are going to take a lot of collaboration, a lot of working across the table, across organizational lines. How do you see the role of collaboration and working with? You mentioned obviously the state highways and the county commission by name. Additionally, obviously there are a lot of other entities that are at play here. How would you, as a city councilor, go about working together with some of these organizations, building bridges?
Well, I think one of the things, when I was on city council, we only had one meeting with the city, with the county commission, and that was in the exchange of the green space for Palatine Park, which I always thought was a rather strange exchange, that the city would exchange a whole park area on the river for a basically less than an acre piece of property. But it happened, and that's where we are today. But there's no reason why city council and the county commission can't set up meetings together, and along with the state road commission, and meet together and try to come up with solutions to these problems. They can talk in their commission, and we can talk in our council, and the state road can talk wherever they talk. But why can't we all get together, along with, say, the Chamber of Commerce, and come up with solutions for this that are really workable and viable? I know one of your questions that you asked some other people was, what happened if $1 million was suddenly dumped upon the City of Fairmont to use?
In my mind, that was my next one coming up.
Well, I think $1 million is not enough, but I'll take $1 million if given to me on the City Council to try to come up with solutions to problems. And I think $1 million would be a beginning, but again, we're talking about a hypothetical there. I'd like to stick with the real things that are happening right now. It would be great to have $1 million given to the city or to the county for us to use in the way we want to. But again, it's up to the people to decide what they want and how they want to use money. And that's what City Council does. They decide what's best for the city.
So on what's best for the city and doing things in downtown, obviously I'm the director of Main Street Fairmont. How do you see Main Street playing into your plan for the city, and kind of the role that you see Main Street playing, and what can the city and Main Street do together to continue to better the downtown area, in your opinion?
Well, I go through the city maybe once or twice a week. I don't go down as much as I used to. But one of the things we need to really do, and the city needs to do this too, is to clean the areas up. There's no reason to have trash all over the place. We used to have, I don't know why we don't have them anymore, we used to have cleanups in the fall and in the spring, especially in April, I think is when we had a spring cleanup. Mm-hmm. But I know the COVID is a problem, but that doesn't keep you from organizing people to clean up our area and maybe clean up the downtown area. There's grass growing out of places that shouldn't be. There's trash thrown in places that shouldn't be. And those are minor things, I think, that can be done.
Well, Dan, it's funny you should mention that, and I'm just going to put a shameless plug out here. October 10th, we are kicking off our Beautify the Friendly City initiative. And so if you're interested in volunteering, anyone who's watching, you're more than welcome to come join us downtown as we start. We're going to clean up sidewalks and pick up trash, and we're actually kicking that off here this coming Friday on the 25th. We've got Power Wash Bros has Mitch Wood and his team over there have generously donated their time, and they're going to come power wash a block of Adams Street for us on the sidewalk. So
very
we're actually getting started right there.
Very good.
Believe it or not, I didn't tee that question up. All right, last question here for you, Dan, as we're kind of winding this down. In your opinion, how important is citizen involvement to the city, and how would you encourage more involvement?
Oh, I think citizen involvement is extremely important. The city used to do the 101 program, in which they would invite people to come as a group and go to the various, to the water plant to the street department, to the fire department, to the police department, to see how those organizations worked. That was done. I went to the first one that were there. I learned a great deal about how the city works by going to those 101 meetings that the city used to have. So I think that would be, if that could be reinstituted and we could get people interested to go to those, I think they would learn a great deal about the city and how the city works, and it would be a big beneficial development for the people who go.
Very good, very good. Well, Dan, do you have any final comments for our voters out there?
No, I think that's good.
All right, well, get out and vote, and make sure that you're tuning in here for the month of September at 7 p.m. You can find it on the Facebook pages of the 304 Collective and the Marion County Chamber of Commerce, and we hope to see you here for our next candidates forum. We have 4 more coming up this week. We certainly appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.